Right, so we're looking at Amariza's submission for the summary. Many tourists are attracted to this treehouse due to its uniqueness. Here, visitors enjoy things like watching beautiful sunsets and relaxing on summers. The landscape is not as beautiful and unreal than a dream which came true. The couple's creative approach to a nature-themed hotel is what impresses most visitors, taking them into a whole new dimension where nature thrives. The masterpiece of this hotel is the mirror cube, a glass cube placed in the forest. Okay. It has a heating system providing warmth in winters with a one-way glass with a 360-degree view where your eyes can marvel at nature for as long as they want. The hotel also provides a platform where visitors can sleep under the sky. People can also stop for coffee. There are also activities that are noisy are not entertaining. Now, there are a few things I'd like to point out. First, some punctuations, right? For example, you need a full stop over here, you used a comma, right? And relaxing in the summer, so that's proper sentence construction. In fact, Google Docs is highlighting that as well, right? Some over here as well. You would want a full stop after sky as well, right? Uh, Repetition over here, there are also activities, right? So you would say that they are separate points, but it seems right, redundant over here. And plus, right, so this point mentioning a specific uh, part of the tree hotel is something I believe we went over, something that we don't want to mention. We would have wanted to mention the different rooms or the different tree houses the tree hotel offers as a whole. And the wording over here, right? It has a heating system providing warmth in winters, right? So even though you're technically correct, but what the text was talking about was underfloor heating. So heated floor is what you wanted to be talking about in specific, right? Just sort of changing uh, the meaning up slightly than what is given the text. With a one-way glass with a 360 view, right? Now, because using one with, sorry, it's, I mean, it might seem that you're talking about the heating system, that the heating system has a one-way glass, which is obviously ridiculous, right? So you want to phrase your sentence better with a 360 view where your eyes can marvel at the nature. So instead of making minor corrections, I actually go on to uh, rewrite the whole thing. So I'll go into suggesting mode, right? That way it's going to appear green. Oops, okay. Okay, let's see. So the points that we had, we can stick with the first line. Right, so it's not a particular tree house, but tree hotel. And it's not it is a proper noun, so you need to take care about the capitalization over here. Why does it go to the next page? What's going on? So we are still going to solve some problems, isn't it? Okay. Visitors can enjoy uh, watching beautiful sunsets and relaxing in the summers. Right. So in the full stop after that, the landscape is no less beautiful and unreal than a dream which came true. So you can say the landscape is, we've used the word beautiful already, beautiful sunsets. So what can we use instead of beautiful? We don't want to repeat our words in general. You can use fabulous, and the experience is like a dream come true. Right? The creative approach to a nature-themed hotel approach to a nature-themed hotel takes visitors we can say takes, or what's the word used in the text? Transports, I believe. Okay. There are various tree houses to choose from, all with futuristic architecture like the mirror cube. So right here, what I'm doing is I'm mentioning the mirror cube as an example, and I'm not focusing on it. Oh, right. The rooms have one-way glasses for privacy. Now, what you can do, right, each point doesn't have to be a separate sentence, right? You can sort of merge points together in a more complex sentence. The rooms have one-way glasses for privacy, 360 let's degree viewing glass ceilings, and I think it's EI. And platforms where guests can sleep under the open sky. So you see, I've added, I believe, 3 points in this one line, where in one sentence, I not one line. Okay. Winters are comfortable due to underfloor heating. The toilets, I believe, are minimalistic, minimalistic and eco-friendly. You can go on walking tours and meet villagers as well. Do we have enough points? So we've mentioned relaxing, we've mentioned the landscape, dreams, right? Innovative designs. We've mentioned entering another world, underfloor heating, privacy, sleeping under the open air, different tree houses, 360-degree viewing, village walking tour, eco-friendly toilets. Yes, I believe we have enough points. Now let's see how many words that is. Now, also notice I've tried not to change what you've done in the sense that the points that you have provided. I've only improved the writing and the presentation, right? So even though it may seem like a completely new piece, that was not the intent. And oh my, right? This is just 110 words, which is much, much, much less. So we actually have 40 words where we can add some detail and right stretch it out a bit. So I leave that to you for this one. But as far as having enough points, we do have enough points, right? I would not suggest your summary to be this short, right? I'm not going to delve into that at the moment because I have two others to check. Maybe I'll come back to it after I check the others. Amarza, you were following along, right? Do you notice a difference in how you approached it and wrote it down and what I suggested here, all in green? You see that I have included the points that you mentioned. I haven't, right? I mean, obviously it is different because it's rewritten, but again, the purpose is to, improve your submission. So you and of course all other participants and right students of the class, whenever we go through an activity like this, depending on how much I have to suggest, or in this case I rewrote the whole thing, it was short, so that's okay. I want you to compare what you submitted and what I suggested, and I want you to see what I've done as compared to what you, because you obviously believe that your submission is of good quality, right? Which is fine, obviously you should believe that. But then there are suggestions, there are improvements, there are corrections to be offered. And so I want you to learn from that and then see how that was done. Make a note, and the next time we come across an exercise, a summary exercise, right, to implement it and to improve your own work. That is the aim, right? It's not just, a teacher's correction that you push to the side. That will not be of any use. Okay, so if I close it, let me just copy it just in case if something goes wrong. see, close this. Okay. Okay, so not this. Okay, so I'll put it over here as I was expecting. There you go. Right, so it is in the doc file, not the PDF, and that's being returned to you. Okay, one down. Next up is Haram. Oh my. Right, I do believe I asked you to, yeah. Now, right, the reason I asked you to type it out in the document that I provided for this task, as you can see, it makes editing easier for me, right? So I can give suggestions, I can strike things out, I can add, you know, add and subtract and edit basically. So working with a PDF or an image still, right, would be difficult for me. And so if you can resubmit this when you get time in typing, would that be possible? Right? Then I will take a look at our offer suggestions. I will read it right now. So you said this 205 words, so you're clearly 55 words over. I will read it. Imagine relaxing in a tree hotel after school on a random summer evening. I believe you're giving some introduction. Summaries do not need an introduction. Okay? The first line of your summary is the first point you want to offer. You get straight to it. Okay? Sounds like a childhood fantasy which we all have, but guess what? You can now live out your childhood dream because a tree hotel in northern Sweden just opened. Again, there's a mentioning the location is not relevant. See, you're summarizing. You're not giving all the details. That's the whole point, right? If someone wants all the details, read the actual text. I also believe what you're trying to do is mimic the tone of the actual text, which is a good effort, but not necessary. Okay, not necessary, especially if that is causing you to go over the word. All right. Also, all right, so I will make the suggestions in writing when you submit it as a doc. Amaya, also next time, please type it out as a doc, not a PDF. That makes it easier. Right, so tree hotel is a proper noun in this case, right? So T will be capital and it's one word. And this looks like three E's. So I guess a bit of handwriting because your actual, exams and tests will be physical and handwritten. So, right, handwriting is important. In fact, I do believe I suggested that you write it out on paper first, and then when you're done with it, you're ready, then you type it out in the Google Doc and submit it in the classroom, right? So do write it on paper. Okay, let's go through this, continue. Right, the creative architect of the Tree Hotel brings such peace and harmony to the soul. The creative architect, not the architect is the person. So if you mean that the person is bringing peace and harmony to the soul, that would give a very different meaning to this sentence, right? The creative architecture, which means the building. Okay. That a person gets freedom from the worries of the world. So another suggestion over here, which I can obviously see, is that your sentences are rather lengthy, so we can, compress them. And as you can see, as you just saw, when we get to it, we can, cut it down quite a bit. The forest flora and fauna bring. Now, it won't be brings, it will be bring because you're mentioning flora and fauna. So that's two things. So that's plural. Bring peace to the heart This place has an illusion of leaving one world behind and entering another. Illusion is not the term that I would use, right? It it offers an otherworldly experience, right? It seems as if we are, shifting to a different dimension, a different world, right? Uh, Something like that. Not illusion. Uh, See, you're trying to elaborate over here. Paradise on earth. So we wouldn't want to do that in a summary, right? And you're putting a semicolon and then quotation marks. So, right, punctuations. Mm, those aren't the punctuations we want to use. The underfloor heating keeps the tree hotel cozy. So I don't want the first the. You can start with underfloor heating keeps the tree hotel cozy throughout winter. I don't want this the either. You can have a 360-degree view of your surroundings. There's no invasion of privacy. You can see out, but no one can see in. Okay. Maybe you want to shorten that. In summers, you can sleep under the open sky or do stargazing, engage in stargazing, or stargaze just as a verb, right? I believe you can do that. In summers, you can sleep under the open sky or stargaze as a verb. That would work. There are spots such as stop for coffee and cake. There are spots such as stops for, okay, so that the guests can interact with the locality. Locals, locality is the area. So are the guests interacting with the area or with the people of the area, right? Yeah, so that will be the locals. And right, so you can write guests can stop for coffee and cake and interact with the locals. So you want to shorten that, right? You don't even there are spots for stops. Guests can stop for coffee and cake, or guests can go out for coffee and cake and interact with the locals. There are activities for enjoyment as well, such as noisy. There aren't. The text says that activities such as noisy snowmobile safaris are definitely out, if I believe I remember the text correctly. Just give me a sec. Yeah, activities such as noisy snowmobile safaris are definitely out. So that's what the text said. So, right, this would be wrong in its entirety. Don't miss the special surprise, the opening of the UFO at the end of October in the fifth and final treehouse in the collection. Again, right, mentioning this, I mean, the UFO itself is not something that would appeal to me. It is, as I mentioned, right, in the explanation last time, and right, for Amariza's summary as well, that is, in general, the variety offered to me that is more appealing. Okay, so those are some areas of improvement, some mistakes, some suggestions, and then you obviously need to rewrite this, focusing on just the main points, rewording this, getting it down to a maximum of 150. So I'm not returning this because I haven't done anything, right? Uh, and you can obviously, but in fact, we should type it out and submit it. Then we have Mirza. Okay, can I do something here? I can't. Okay. Let me just make some sense of this. Okay. Here, that's it. You ended UFO open. Okay. Now, how many words are these? 156. So 6 words over. As I did mention, right, if your writing is going over the limit, anything above 150 will not be checked by the examiner. All right? Now let's go into suggestion. Let me read this first. Uh, think about relaxing in a treehouse on a summer evening for grammar, living out your childhood dreams. Well, that dream just became real as last month a tree hotel opened in northern Sweden, offering views across the surrounding landscape, which also includes getting in touch with nature. Okay, uh, that treehouse is full of. I believe you wanted to write full, right? I take that as a typo. Full of creative design and innovative architecture, just architecture, not S. It's like entering another world full of greenery. Slash. Okay, don't put in slashes. Okay, in your writing, choose one word and go with it. Don't put slash this, slash that. You're giving an option for words. Don't do that. The best design of treehouse is its glass box, which is perched high in the forest. We're talking about the mirror cube, obviously, aren't mentioning the name. It has reflective cladding, means no one can see inside, but you can enjoy outside with 360 view. In winters, the underfloor heating will keep it warm, and in summers, you can sleep out under the open sky. Okay, over breakfast, you can stop for coffee, cake, or conversation with a local family. Activities are also included, such as noisy snowmobile safaris. Again, right, that is a misunderstanding of the point. And at the end of October, the final collection of the treehouse, the UFO, opens. Okay. Uh, Phrasing of the sentences, getting the right meaning across, and right grammar is what we need to work on. So we can do this. You can live out your childhood dream, right? I'm starting with the second point they've offered first, right? It depends on the organization of points in the text and the meaning that they're conveying, right? And that will obviously influence the organization that you come up with in your summary. So your summary cannot be a random, selection of points disorganized, which one's coming first, which one, no consideration of which point comes first and which comes, next. It should be coherent. It should follow a understandable order, right? When you read one point after the next, it should link together and it should make sense in meaning and flow. Right now, in this case, perhaps the summary is not as, the points are not as particular. You can move them about easily without affecting the, overall conveyed meaning. But certain summaries are such where you have to be careful about the organization of the point, right? Which one comes first and which one follows. You cannot just put them down any particular order. It is in general safer to follow the organization of the text itself. But right, that doesn't mean that you just blindly follow it. Maybe you need to make some changes. That is also part of what's being tested, as you know. So just be careful. Now, in this case, right, I do have the liberty of moving things about. You can live out your childhood dream, comma, relaxing in a treehouse on a summer evening at the Tree Hotel in northern Sweden. Northern and it offers picturesque views of the surrounding landscape. I'm using a hyphen, right? A perfect getaway from routine and a means to unwind. Okay, the tree houses, in fact, right now, I just remove the space between tree and house. That, how does that help me? That helps me because if I had written those two with a space in between, they would have counted as two words. Now they're counting as one word. Can I do this with anything? No. Right? There are certain words that can be written with or without spaces. So you need to know which ones work that. Okay, there are certain words that can be written with or without a hyphen in between, not the kind of hyphen I put over here, right? But with a dash in between words. For example, right, if I write 62, I'm writing it with a hyphen in between, right? That will count as one word because that is a compound noun. Okay, and knowing these little tricks, again, it's not that I can do this with any word I want, right? Because obviously being correct matters, but knowing which word can have a hyphen in between, you can make a compound word out of it, or which word is what you call it, right? Can come with or without a space in between. That will help you bring down the word count if it is going over. Okay, so the tree houses are designed, in fact, have creative designs. So I don't need to mention board design, architecture, either of those will do. Which feels like entering a different world. Putting that over here. Okay, and there are different ones to choose from. So that's giving me the variety. The class walls have protective screens for privacy. Ceilings have a 360-degree view. Am I missing something? Okay, no one can see out, but you can enjoy. So no one can see, but you can enjoy outside. Let's you can squeeze that in later. Okay. In winters, the oh, by the way, right? I'm adding commas and stuff, so punctuations are important, right? It's not just write a bunch of words and put a full stop and write a bunch of words and which punctuation you're using, where you're using it matters, right? The underfloor heating will keep you warm, and in summers you can sleep outside under the open sky. For breakfast, you can stop, you can go out for coffee, cake, and conversations with local families. Noisy activities are disallowed, or in fact, let's just prohibited, making the tree hotel nature friendly. Right, so I can use an hyphen over here. This is a compound noun, nature friendly. Uh, okay, and right, I don't want the UFO point as I mentioned. So how much do I have? Again, I feel I have made this far too concise. Oh, 114 words. So somewhere around what I did with Amar's submission. Ceilings have a 360-degree view. Do we have sufficient points? Do we have 10 points? We're talking about living out childhood dream, relaxing in a tree house, okay, picturesque view of the surroundings, unwind, so relaxing, and that will be 1 point. So we've got one, two, three, entering a new world is four, creative design is five, different to choose from six, privacy is seven, 360-degree view is eight, underfloor heating is nine, sleeping outside is 10, conversation with the local families, okay. And are there any of these that are, considered as the single point? Mm, no. So we haven't managed to include about 12 points, I believe. Right? Again, I managed to make it far too concise. Something that you could possibly achieve if you practice enough. Otherwise, if you're adding some details and it is, as long as it's under 150 basically, right? So I haven't strayed, like I've just stuck to it. But even then, right, I've tried to give it flow. So hopefully, right? You'll be the judge of that. It doesn't seem as if, these are just points that I've listed as a paragraph, right? It is giving required information. It does have a certain flow to it. It is concise. Obviously, that's the whole point. And yeah, so right, you do have what, 36 words to spare if you want to add some details, a few, you know, ums and ahs here and there. But yeah, that's that. Bakar, you're following along, obviously. Any comments? Right, so I obviously say the same to you as I did to Amaraza, that, right, take a look at this, see the changes that I've made, and learn from them, right? This is not to showcase my skill, right, but to upgrade yours, right? So hopefully my suggestions will help in that. So you read what you did, you read what I've done with your work, right? I've tried to stay true to your submission, not making it something completely new. Otherwise, there would be nothing left for comparison and nothing left to learn. So yeah, hopefully that helps. And right, I believe I will stop here for the day. So tomorrow we will be starting paper two, and right, with the directed writing task. All right. Let me just return this to you. Aram, which account will you be using? So you're going to give in two submissions every time? uh, all right. Yeah. Okay. Well, right. It works. It's not like it's a school thing. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's not a school thing, so it's fine. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll get started with paper two, directed writing. If there's anything you'd like to add, go ahead. Otherwise, that's all for today. All right. Allah